Is Danielle Hunter approaching his last days in purple? I don't know, man. Listen, this situation right here was going on in the offseason with his contract and things like that. And even this offseason, it wasn't the first time that we went through this with Danielle Hunter with his contract. And when we look at Danielle Hunter today, he is the NFL sack leader. So Danielle Hunter definitely has something special, right? He knows how to get to the quarterback. When I look at some of the other top echelon pass rushers, though, I look at the Micah Parsons, the TJ Watts, the Nick Bosa's, and to me, I do still feel like something's missing there with Danielle Hunter. I don't know. Maybe it's just his personality, just him being the nice guy and kind of quiet, not kind of, after you get a sack and stuff like that. Things that I look for in players too, because I like that confidence. But again, if the Vikings were to decide to keep Danielle Hunter past 2023 season, I'm not going to be upset. And I'm sure most Vikings fans won't be, because he is good at what he does. All right. But again, I think this is all going to be based off how the Vikings perform in this next game. I think that Monday night, tomorrow night, when the Vikings roll out there on that turf and play the San Francisco 49ers, I think that is what's going to determine what happens with Danielle Hunter moving forward. Okay, so Ian Rappaport, man, he comes out and starts the Sunday off early. You feel me? We're going to get right into it. He said, as the trade deadline draws closer, the Vikings are receiving calls on NFL sack leader Danielle Hunter. Could he be this year's Roquan Smith? Now, I look at it like this, man. I think that a team like the Jaguars, there's a couple teams out there that feel like, hey, we're already in a very good position, and if we were to add a player like Danielle Hunter, it would just make it much better for us to make that longer run in January and going into February, hopefully being able to play that game in February. I think that's what it's about. Now, I don't see Danielle Hunter getting traded to a team that's just kind of in mediocrity like us, where this season they don't even have an identity. They don't know where they're going this season. They don't know if they're going to make the playoffs or not. But you have your certain teams where they can tell, they can feel it in the locker room. They can feel it. Their fan bases can feel it, like, hey, we're going to be in the playoffs this season, and we might need just one or two more pieces right there on that defense to make a big difference. And Danielle Hunter would be a perfect candidate for those teams. I say this, man. If we go out there and we get mollywopped by the San Francisco 49ers, then I'm going to tell you right now, all the Danielle lovers and stuff, man, just go ahead and cut your strings, man. Cut your strings. Now, in my opinion, I think that would be the best move. Like, if you can get a first-round pick for him, and, I mean, maybe that's a long shot, but if you can get a second-round pick for Danielle Hunter, a second and a third, you have to take that deal. You have to take that deal, man. When you look at the whole situation, because I think we've been through this as Vikings fans, is trying to hold on. There's a lot of people that, don't like the fact of the Vikings like to hold on to these players too long. And then come next year, Danielle Hunter isn't the same Danielle Hunter once we have to pay him in the offseason, because keep in mind, he is going to be a free agent coming up this offseason. So we can let him walk and get maybe a comp third or something like that. Something up in that range, right? Or we can get a second and a third right now, or possibly a first, man. There's rumors out there that somebody might spend a first on a player like Danielle Hunter. You know what I mean? Like, he's a little older, but he's still in his prime, where he still has those 3-4 years of, he can sign one more contract for 3 to 4 years and still play at a very high level and maybe be the sack leader in the NFL for a year or two, man. He does have that talent, okay? As simple as that. Now, can the Vikings benefit off having a guy like that on their roster? Absolutely. Every team would. And, again, like I'm going to say, as a Vikings fan, if we decide to continue to do business with Danielle Hunter, I'm not going to be mad. I don't think a lot of us fans are going to be mad. Only time we're going to be mad is if we do happen to continue business with him and next year he comes out and doesn't produce, right? Because as fans, that's what we want. Hey, we pay you the bag. We expect you to go out there and handle your business. Stand on it, right? But again, man, Danielle Hunter could be out of the equation, man, depending on this game coming up tomorrow. Okay, I think this game tomorrow, because if the Vikings become 2-5, bro, it's over with, right? Like we can probably all agree. I know, and I'm going to do a video later today once I watch the games, and I'm going to talk about our next 3 opponents, and we're going to see how they perform today. Since the Vikings are off today, we're going to kind of evaluate our next 3 opponents and how they perform today in their game and see if it's as easy as we think, because there is a lot of convo out there that, okay, our next 3 games after we play the 49ers, they're pretty simple games. We can go in there, we can dominate, we can win the next 4. I'm doing 3, but you have people that say we can go on a 5-game, 6-game winning streak. And we're going to see about that, man. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about these opponents and how they're playing and who they're playing against, because that also has to be in the equation. That's one thing that I'm big on is, yes, our opponents might only have 2 wins as well, 3 wins, but who are they playing, right? Who did they win against? Who did they lose against? By how much? We have to put that into the equation, because I believe that those same teams that we think are easy, they're probably looking at us and saying, listen, we're playing the Minnesota Vikings that have only beaten the Bears and the Panthers, maybe number 31 and number 32 when it comes to power rankings. So there's context there, right? But Danielle Hunter, man, listen, either way it goes, whether he gets traded, whether we keep him, I'm going to be okay with it, but I just want to make sure that it does benefit the Vikings. On one hand, I know keeping a player like Danielle Hunter is going to benefit the Vikings, but at what cost being able to build the rest of your team, because we still have holes, and Danielle Hunter is going to want a bag, bruh. He's going to want the bag, okay? Is he worth the bag that you think he going to want? Because I'm sure it's going to be a pretty penny, especially how he's performing right now. I think you can finagle somebody and get a first round pick, man. I mean, he's leading the NFL. He's putting up 2 to 3 sacks a game, man. Listen, hurry up and dish him off before it's too late. Because if he goes 2 or 3 games without getting a sack or only having 1 sack, man, just like that, his value will drop, man. That's how the NFL is, man. You know NFL, man. NFL players will tell you in their interviews, what does NFL stand for? Not for long. So you have to hit at the right time. Hey, Quasey, this is your deal. You're big on stocks, man. You have to sell high and buy low. Just make sure they don't have injury history, though, whoever you get to replace a guy like Danielle Hunter. You feel what I'm saying? But let me know in the comments how y'all feel. Do you want to trade Danielle Hunter? Do you think he's going to be traded before the trade deadline? Or would you like to keep Danielle Hunter and have him retire as a Viking, being that he brought us so many good seasons, man, other than the ones that he's been injured? Let me know how you feel, man. We get to watch some stress-free football today on a Sunday because the Vikes ain't playing. I'll see y'all in a little while. Holla at your boy.
Yeah, smooth summer, who running? I hear them talking, but they ain't gon' do nothing. Celebration, I might have a toast with you. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great, I'm terrific. We ain't taking no losses, we winning. Undefeated, check the percentage.